Hi everyone, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here with a new PB&J card class, and today's video is the first in a series of my top 5 versatile products from Penny Black's most recent releases. And today's video features our all-in-one hexagon die. So you see a couple of cards here made with it, and really love this die because there are so many different ways that you can use it. So before we begin making the cards today, I just wanted to mention when I say a product is versatile, this is what I mean. This is what makes it versatile to me. It makes my stash more usable because it gives already owned stamps and dies a home, or it can make new items more likely to be used because it gives them a home on the card. It can work for multiple seasons or occasions, coordinates with multiple styles from cute to elegant. It's easy to use, so I won't have any aversion to getting it out and using it. And it has a classic look and style, so it's not overly trendy. So this is a look at that all-in-one hexagon die. As you can see, it's one die, so it's super easy to use. You crank it through your die cutting machine one time and you get all of these pieces which then perfectly fit together to make a card. And so it is really versatile, again like I said, giving a home to lots of different products in your stash or new products. So for the cards today that I'm going to make, I'm going to show you how this die can be used with Penny Black's new layering stencils. This one is the Floral Wings layering stencil. So there are 3 different new butterfly layering stencils, and all I'm doing is just applying my inks through the stencil onto smooth cardstock. And then the stencils have lines, they're kind of hard to see, and sorry for my head there, that help you line up each layer on top of each other. I use sticky notes just to cover up any part of the edge of the stencil so that I don't ink where I don't want to ink. And then I'm working on the Wendy Vecchi Make Art STAYtion, which is like a magnetic sort of mat that you can work on. It makes it really easy to hold the stencils in place, but you certainly don't have to have this tool. You could hold them in place with tape or even just with your hand. But I did find it was really useful. So you can see here there is an outline that will help you put that next stencil right on top. You can use as many layers for a particular stencil as you want. So if you want a more simple butterfly, you don't need to use as many layers. If you want it really whimsical with lots of layers, you can keep going and going with your layers. I'm using Distress inks, and I will list all of the colors. Every single supply that I'm using is listed for you down in the YouTube description box below. So you can see I am going to wait on adding those dots to the lower wings, and I'll show you why in just a minute. And I'm going to move on to the upper wings. Again, very easy to line up. There are sort of like outlines there. That's what I'm looking at behind my head, I promise. And I can just line those up and just covering up that extra space with some post-it notes. Those round things are just magnets. Again, you can just hold it with your hand or with some tape, like a removable tape, or this is a handy tool. And I'm going to apply some ink, some Distress ink through this top part. Now I'm even going to add more than one color through this certain layer. So I'm just adding, I add picked raspberry and now some Seedless preserves around the outer edge. That will give you even more dimension. These stencils are so fun because there's so many different color combinations that you can use that give them a unique look each and every time that you use them. So I'm even going to just brighten that up a little bit, even a touch of that red on there. Again, all of the colors, that was Fired Brick, are listed down in that YouTube description box below, along with all of the Penny Black products that I'm using. There is even the layering stencils for the body. So I will just line that up. Put a little sticky note there over this part of the design so I don't accidentally ink through that on top of my butterfly. And if you have any question about what layers to use together on the packaging, it's very clear. There's also numbers on each of the layers on the stencil, which makes it very easy. But what I love about these is they aren't too tricky, so they don't take a lot of mental power to get everything lined up and figured out. So I'll put this one on here. And again, if you didn't want to add these extra details, you don't have to. I used gray flannel Memento ink, and then I'm going to put some Tuxedo black Memento ink on top of that. And I'm just using ink blending tools with a foam pad. Now, I am using an ink blending tool with a foam pad now for these two layers, and I'm actually dipping that into some white acrylic paint. I just squirted a little bit onto a sticky note to use as a palette, and I am just pouncing that on the tool, kind of going in the direction of the leaves and the flowers so that the stencil stays flat onto the butterfly. But this is a really fun way to add a very light sort of ghosted look to your stencil and to your butterfly design, which you'll see here in just a minute when I pull this up. So I'm just patting that and kind of swiping at the same time. Decided to darken it up a little so you can put, I prefer to put thin layers on as opposed to a gloppy layer that's going to take a long time to dry. And I think that is so pretty. I just wanted to show you when I use any type of paint, I do clean off my stencil right away. I'm not so good about cleaning off the ink right away. So sometimes that will, if it's an ink that is staining, it can stain your stencil, but it's not a problem because it won't impact your next project. But if you like to keep things really tidy, I recommend just having, I've got this little microfiber cloth and I spray that with just a little bit of water and clean it off right away, especially when I'm using them with paint. And here again, I'm going to use that white acrylic paint using an ink blending tool with a foam pad and pounce that there on that bottom layer of the wings. Doing just thin layers and doing a couple of them, so it's easy and quick for it to dry. And look at that butterfly. I love it so much. It was so fun to create these. I actually sat and made just tons of butterflies in different colors, and I'll show you a bunch of different color combinations if you stay tuned at the end of the video just for the butterflies. Now here's again what I love. I have this new product, these butterflies, and I made a whole bunch of them, different color combinations, and I can now go to this All-in-One Hexagon die and have an automatic card design to work for these butterflies. So I'm going to put a little bit of inking around the outside edge. This is a die cut piece, one crank through the die. And I just like how that looks matted on the white cardstock. Now this is that interior piece that's also going to come with that one crank through the die. I'm going to ink this to sort of match up with the color of the oranges on the butterfly. So starting off of the edge and working my way on in a circular motion using an ink blending tool and a foam pad. And then I'm going to assemble the card. So I'm going to put down this piece first, and I'm just doing that flat on the card. You could certainly pop it up. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can play around with using these. I'm also going to put this piece flat with double-sided tape onto the card. And now I'm going to take that butterfly. Now all those butterfly layering stencils also have cutout dies to match. And so I just cut that out using the die, super simple. And then I'm going to have this one wing coming out, one sort of tucked inside of the frame. And so I'm trimming off the excess, and I did put some adhesive foam tape so we get a little dimension, and this will just fit perfectly in there because again, just cranking it through one time, everything is going to be straight and lined up, just super easy to use, and I think that is such a fun card to make. I'm going to pop up the wing. I'm just cutting a little bit of foam tape there off camera just to pop that wing up a little bit more for extra dimension, and do the same over on this side as well. So here is a look at the finished cards. All I did on this one was just add a few pearls. And now I'm going to give you lots and lots of ideas for using this hexagon die. So if you stay through to the end of this video, I'll also be showing other variations um, even not just with butterflies for this card, but here is another one. Same process that I followed for the first, just different color combination. Now for this one, I just use a sticky note to mask off the top, and I applied ink only on that bottom stitch portion. So another way you can use that. Here I used just that frame piece and then a few of the interior pieces to create sort of a hexagon background. So you can use it just as is and have your card designing all done for you. You can add whatever you want to the center hexagon, or you can start playing around with separating some of the pieces. You could have a larger window if you don't, or frame if you don't use that interior stitched piece. You can use it by itself as well. So here I also wanted to show you some other color variations with the butterflies, but stay tuned to end of the video. There's more coming with that hexagon die as well. This is all that same butterfly die that we used in the video, layered stencil and die cut floral wings. This one is Flutter, so another layered stencil design tucked there into the hexagon frame. Here's just another color combination with that Flutter and Flutter cutout. Again, another color combination with that. I just thought, well, we're here using these stencils. I'll give you several color combinations. Back now to that hexagon frame with the Arial layered stencil and the Arial cutout. Here's another color combination with that one. So just going monochromatic with some blues and then really bright. So that's all the same butterfly, but just by changing the colors, you get a really different look. Now I promised I would show you more ideas for that hexagon frame because this for me is one of my top 5 current versatile products because you can use it so many different ways. So here I've just turned that hexagon frame die so that the stitching is on the left. You can also see that I filled that hexagon with a more of a cute image. So again, it's very versatile. You can use it with butterflies or flowers. You could use it at Christmas. Cute, elegant. Here I've used just that interior piece and I've even moved it off to the side for sort of a modern, minimalist, clean and simple look, using it with flowers. Here is another idea where I've used that interior hexagon as well as that stitched frame and only use those. This is on a standard size card. So if you don't want to go always with a square card, you can use the pieces on standard size cards. Same thing that I've done here on this set of cards. I've trimmed the stitching piece and I've mounted that on a standard size card, and I'm using that interior hexagon frame and that stitched piece, and I've just used them all as separate pieces by trimming them after I run it through the die cutting machine, which again is very easy to do because it's just one pass through that die cutting machine. So I hope you've gotten inspired and found some great new card making ideas, whether it's with our new layering stencils or with this very versatile all-in-one hexagon die. Everything is linked for you down below in the YouTube description box. I'd love to know what is your favorite card that you saw today featuring this hexagon die. I love all your comments. I read them all and I just appreciate you all so, so much. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on all these other places: Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, our website, and our blog. Thanks for watching.